In this video, I want to give you a quick tour of the Thrive Content Builder, and we've made this as intuitive as possible. So hopefully you can see, I'll give you a quick overview over what you can do here, and then you can just jump in and use this yourself. So first of all, there are two ways in which you can launch the Content Builder, so to speak. The first is if you look at the page or post you want to edit, you have this link up here in the admin bar that says Edit with Thrive Content Builder, or in the post or page editor view, in WP Admin, there's a button here, Edit using Thrive Content Builder. And both of these do the same thing, right? Both of these open up your Content Builder. Now, on this note, I want to show you something. Here you can see the regular WordPress content field is empty, and the post here or the page has some content in it. That's because this is Thrive Content Builder content. And we keep Content Builder content completely separate from regular WordPress content. And this is something we had to do because otherwise, if we made regular WordPress content editable with Thrive Content Builder, that would cause lots of conflicts with things like theme shortcodes and custom shortcodes and custom styles and things like that. And we want to avoid a lot of problems that this could cause. So Thrive Content Builder content is completely separate from regular WordPress content. It is only viewable when you edit a page, or on the front end, obviously, if you've published it, or if you edit a page with Thrive Content Builder. You won't see it in the regular WordPress content field. All right. So with that said, let's start the Content Builder. So as you can see, it opens this sidebar with all of your elements that you can use in Content Builder. Now, there are two ways to add content to a page. From over here, you can either drag and drop. So if I get this paragraph here, I can drag and drop it onto the canvas. And this little green outline shows me where on the canvas the new paragraph will be added. I can drop it here. And then I can start writing here. Or I can simply click, okay? I can just click here and it will be added to the bottom of the content. And the same goes for everything. So I can just click these things here and it adds all of this stuff. It basically piles all these elements to the bottom of the page. Now, some elements come with several styles, and you can see this indicated with this little arrow. In this case, if I click here, I get a selection of possible elements, and then here again I can either drag and drop them or click them to add them to the canvas. On the canvas itself, as you can see, I'm basically looking at the page exactly as it is, and here I can do my editing. And I think the most important thing you need to know here is that there are two modes you can be in. If I click on an element, I'm in editing mode, and this box with extra options pops up. So here I can do my usual text editing stuff that you're used to, so I can make text bold and things like that. And this is because what I'm currently editing is a paragraph. While I'm in editing mode, I cannot drag and drop elements. So now if I click on the paragraph and I drag the mouse, then it selects text, because that's what happens when you're editing text, right? If I click on an empty space in the canvas and this box disappears, now I'm in drag and drop mode. So now if I click and drag, I'm moving the paragraph around. And the same goes for all other elements. So if I click on this image, that puts me in edit mode, and edit mode is always when this box here appears. Here I can do things like change the image size, I can add alt texts, change the alignment and things like that. If I click on an empty space on the canvas and then click and drag, then I'm moving the image on the canvas. You'll see that the editing options depend on what element you select. So if I click on this button, I get button elements such as button alignment, button size, button color. You usually have color options as well, and so on, right? And that's because I selected a button. And so these options here in editing mode will change depending on what kind of element you've selected. And to get out of editing mode, it's always just a click into the empty space somewhere. All right, one more thing that's very useful to know is about columns. So if we get some columns here from the column layouts, I can get, let's say, halves, put them in here, and this will show you the containers of the columns with these dotted lines, which means now you can drag and drop an element inside this container. Right now it's inside a half column, now it's outside of one. Drop it in here, and this will change, obviously, the size and dimensions of the element I just added. The columns are also indicated with these little paragraphs. They're basically filled with column indication paragraphs, and you can get rid of these. You can just delete them, or if you just want to write text inside the column, a handy keyboard combination to use here is Control A to select everything, and then you can start writing. And that's true for everything like the content in this box here. Control A selects everything, and then I can start writing. And that basically, gets rid of all the sample content very easily. Another thing is there's a duplication function, and a duplication function duplicates everything that's inside the element that I'm duplicating. So as an example, let me just add a space here. Here, if I duplicate this box, the content box here, it will duplicate all of the content inside the content box as well. And then I can drag that over here, for example. There we go. At any point, you can save all of your changes by just clicking this big green Save Changes button. If you're working on an unpublished page, if you're working on a preview, in other words, that will simply save the preview. If you're working on a published page, that will publish the changes you just made. All right. So it's the same thing as with the regular WordPress editor. On a published page, you can update the page and the live version will update. And on a preview, you're simply saving the current preview. All right, a few more things. One, you can collapse this editor. If you need more space on the canvas, you can get a small version of the editor here and expand it again like this. Very simple. You can change the style family of all the elements with this menu here. As you can see, this changes all of my elements into one of the style families that are available. And you can get some further options concerning the editor on this gear icon. Also, you can get a HTML view of the whole thing by clicking this button. That's this HTML button up here next to templates. And this gives you a raw HTML view of the entire page where you can make any kind of changes and edits that you want. So while I've made a bit of a mess of this page here during the demonstration, I hope this gives you a good overview of how to work with the editor and with the elements. And it should be good enough for you to get started right away. Learning by doing is what I always advocate. So get in there. Build some pages, build some content, and you'll quickly get the hang of this new way of creating and editing WordPress content.